And good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the Sicko Show. And I'm your host, the Matty Man. I am locked and loaded today. Locked and loaded. Couple things happened overnight. Zack Sabre Jr. won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship as he said he would. I got to tell you, I kept up with most of this. Did the best I could anyway because I didn't have New Japan. And I got to say, I've seen Zack Sabre Jr. work. I saw him work at Forbidden Door. And frankly, who he had to work with? Orange Cassidy. And he carried Orange Cassidy to a passable match. I mean, it was okay. Zack Sabre Jr. is part of the future of professional wrestling. And I say not only is it high time, it's way past time to give the man his flowers. Congratulations on winning the New Japan World Championship, New Japan Pro Wrestling World Championship. I'm getting there, I promise. So what's everybody doing today? Drop a comment, like, comment, share. I don't even care if you donate. I got a donation thing right over there. That way, yeah, I keep forgetting. Everything's backwards. Right there. If you feel like donating, you don't have to. I appreciate it. All funds go into the actual show. What a day. What a night. We've got a few things coming down the pike. We've got, what is it, Crown Jewel with the Crown Jewel belt. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? We're going to have a title that can only be defended twice a year. Maybe. That's if they do two. You picking up what I'm putting down here, guys? We got Monday Night Raw coming up tonight, and it's taped. And I have a show coming out shortly thereafterwards that I pre-taped. And I don't have a problem saying I pre-taped it, because if you're going to pre-tape Raw and save me a lot of work, I'm going to more than happily go ahead and do the show. Because you know what? If it's pre-taped, going to be plenty of leaks, going to be plenty of spoilers. So I got my show together based on a lot of things, actually reading and keeping up on it. It is what it is. Just something to talk about with the Monday Night Raw, because I'm going to be watching the product tonight, even though it is taped, even though I know how the match is going to go. I want to see how they put them together. I want to see how this show comes together in 2 hours, because I missed last week's show. To an extent, I watched the replay of it, but there's nothing like watching it while it's going on. The anticipation, everything else that goes along with that. It's pretty simple. Something's just a little bit out of whack and is driving me nuts. So there we go. Now I'm happy again. I don't know how that happened. I apologize, everybody. What a week. And shout out, we got 11 people on already. That is awesome. Thank you. Also, Rhio announces that she's coming to the States from November to December, and that's going to be a topic I'm going to discuss as well. Thank you all for joining in. Thanks for supporting the show. I know you got other things you could be doing, but I appreciate you hanging out with us here for a little while. We're going to try to keep the stream under an hour, somewhere in that range. It might go longer, depending on how I'm feeling today, because I am permanently tired. That's how I'm feeling today. We've been dealing with a lot up in the western North Carolina mountains, so this is my shameless plug again. I don't mind plugging a good cause, because we are not getting the help you think we're getting. I realize a lot of people are reporting and a lot of people are counter-reporting. The truth is somewhere in the middle. And in the middle right now, I can tell you, like I've been saying show after show since this happened, there are a lot of people in the western North Carolina mountains who did not have flood insurance, and FEMA does not have enough money to cover this. So we need help. I'm not going to bash the government. I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to do any of that because that solves nothing in this situation. Not a single thing. What I am going to say is the people up there need your help. So if you run into donation boxes, I know everybody's gripped in this thing right now, but every little bit helps, and I'm going to let a lot of that go because it is what it is. They're devastated. They need help. Please, pretty please, whether you like me or don't like me, listen to the message. They need help. They absolutely need help. They've needed help for a while now. It's not coming. Now, I'm going back up there this evening. I'm getting ready to get on the road. That's why this is probably going to be hopefully a short stream. Not sure. We may get on the road tonight, but we're definitely getting on the road tomorrow morning. No questions asked. And they need your help. So I don't care who you like, who you don't like. This ain't a like thing. This isn't a tribal thing. This is a real thing. So please consider, if you've got stuff, don't give it to Goodwill. Go take it to a donation bin. Somebody can use it. Somebody can wear it. And somebody won't have to pay Goodwill $4 for your contribution. And that's how it is. And I like Goodwill, don't get me wrong. I thrift shop with the best of them. I've got a lot of good thrift stuff. I'm not crapping on them. Please don't take it this way. Give your stuff directly to donation boxes because it will get where it needs to go. And you will be saving somebody a lifetime of misery, especially as we get closer to the holidays. And you're doing a good deed. It is a good thing to do on a regular basis. It's always good to do nice things. But I'm going to leave that alone. That's going to be my regular thing until everybody gets back to normal. And I know normal is the setting on the washing machine. But some semblance of the way things were before this storm hit would be very nice right now. I know of literally hundreds of thousands of people who would be very grateful. So I would love it, love it, love it if you would just take that tack. That's the tack I'm taking. Things I have that I don't need, that's exactly where they're going. They're going to donation boxes. Because right now, I don't think anybody cares who wore the jacket last. It's getting ready to be cold. That's where we're at right now. It's getting ready to go wintertime, and given the way the weather's been so far, it looks like winter's going to start a little bit early. So I can guarantee you, I can 100% assure you that nobody, and I mean nobody, cares who wore it last. Even socks. Underwear, maybe, I can see that. But as far as socks, shoes, jackets, pants, things that are warm clothing, I can 100% guarantee you that not one person will be sitting there going, well, I don't know who wore this. They're going to put the damn thing on. They're going to be warm. And they're going to be thankful. Because, and that's the end of that part of it right there. It's just how I feel. I want you to get the grasp, the depth of how bad this really is. Everybody needs your help. I'll be up there. I may do a live stream from my phone or something like that so I can literally show you what's going on. And it won't be a wrestling related. I'll just pop on live and say, look, guys, this is what we're dealing with. And I'll be happy to do that. Not a question, not a problem. If you need proof, I'm happy to provide that. It's really going on. It's really out there. Please, please consider helping your fellow person. This is not a man, woman, and any of that other political garbage stuff here. Consider helping your fellow person and your fellow persons with pets. Pet food is in very short supply in a lot of places. They sure could use it. And everybody has a pet. We all love our pets. I don't right now, but I'm getting one in the future. Consider helping that as well. Please. Please and thank you. So with that being said, Zack Sabre Jr. snuck around and found out that he could be the world heavyweight champion in the IWGP. Congratulations. This came as a result of his G1 performance where he won the right to challenge. Normally you would challenge, as I understand it. Now I'm still learning New Japan. Please don't kill me over this. Don't kill the messenger. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to familiarize myself with the terms. Apparently, when you win the G1, you usually get a choice around January of who you want to face. And it just so happens in January that New Japan and AEW are doing a joint show, along probably with CMLL. And the Young Bucks are going to be there, etc., etc. Zack Sabre Jr. chose last night to pull this thing off, and he managed to win. And from what I could see so far, I haven't actually been able to sit down and watch the match because it happens overnight when I'm sleeping. But from what I can see in the clips and everything, it was a pretty daggum convincing win. Shout out to Zack Sabre Jr. I'm not sure if this is his first major title. I haven't gotten that deep into it yet. Remember, some of this stuff I've only been dealing with for the last 5 or 6 months. So I'm getting caught up with the names, the routines, the traditions, everything. I'm getting caught up. I'll be there by January, I promise. But the fact that they correct me if I'm wrong. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. The fact that this is, I think, the 4th Goshi to win the IWGP title in its illustrious history. And by the way, it does go back further than the 9 people, because New Japan Pro Wrestling was a thing back in Ric Flair in '73, except they didn't call it that. Titles were basically pretty close to the same, the whole 9 yards. When it reorganized as to New Japan, that's fine. I'm good with that. But in the history of the title, because I don't really give facts, data, and statistics as to current times. I can actually get all the way back to the origins. So from the origins of the actual title itself, it's my understanding that they've only had 4 Goshis in modern times and only 2 more overall since '73. So that is a very prestigious honor. This is not independent wrestling, drones and E-Fed people. That's not what this is. It's not independent wrestling. Shout out to 16. Wow, this thing's growing up pretty quick. Like, comment, and share. And then I thought, I thought to myself, let's have a little discussion about this Saudi thing, because it all relates. It all connects. The reason that Raw is taped is it's a bigger thing than what has previously been discussed. And I know that there's been a hell of a lot of spoilers and leaks and the whole 9 yards. Bottom line is, the main reason they tape this thing, because they don't have to. They could have jetted everybody up overnight. They could have cut Raw live from Saudi Arabia. They could have done it. They could have. The reason they didn't do that is because probably a whole lot of people would be like, who is this and why is she calling herself Bianca Belair? Because it's a night and day experience. Which brings me into my thoughts on Saudi Arabia and where we are in terms of actually affecting a change. My problem with WWE going to Saudi Arabia every year, and it's been this way, if you can dig deep enough into my Facebook account from the first time this happened, my entire gripe with the entire show has nothing to do with the standard lackluster performance matches that we've heard about in the past. Some of them have been really bad. I do believe The Undertaker said if he could have one match he'd like to do over again, it would have been his appearance at Crown Jewel, because it felt phoned in. I'm paraphrasing that for everybody who didn't understand and didn't pick up what he was putting down. because he was in a situation where it was basically phoned in. They got paid in advance to go there. Ticket sales were just a boost to what they were already making. And a lot of the talent didn't take the show very seriously, as opposed to Undertaker, who takes everything he does seriously, which is why I'm still a fan. I've always been a fan of The Undertaker. I was a fan of Mark Calloway in World Class Championship Wrestling. I'm always going to be an Undertaker fan, always going to be stuck on that one. But even he said on a shoot that this was possibly his worst performance ever. And he knows that. And I know that. I saw the match. And yeah, Mark, it wasn't that great. That notwithstanding, the way WWE has to censor one specific group of people in order to put this show on is a bother to me. And a few other things too that were going on over the history of this program with Saudi Arabia that I disagreed with as well, because I'm not, let's not get it twisted here. I'm not that hung up on social politics at all, period. Whatever you want to do outside my four walls, that's the home that I live in, I'm fine with it, with exceptions. Don't be diddling kids. But other than that, anyway, if you want to dress like a woman, dress like a woman. Do anything you want outside the four walls of my house. That's what this country was founded on, and I stand on that. Even as, I will say this, even as a conservative, now I didn't say the R word or the M word or any of that stuff. I just said conservative. Conservative principles say you do you. That's not a liberal ideology. Do whatever you want on your side of the line. I'll do whatever I want on my side of the line. If you're on my side of the line, if you're in my house, respect my rules. If I'm in your house, I will respect your rules. And part and parcel to this is why I can't understand why you would make this deal in the first place. But I fully understand global awareness and I understand global marketing and so on and so forth, so I can see kind of why you would do it. But the reality of it is to be honest with you, aside from the fact that we're getting this crown jewel championship belt, which reeks terribly of an Owen Hart tournament, I don't give a damn how you classify it. The only difference is nobody fought to get to that point. WWE was like, we're just going to take the whole tournament thing out of it. We're going to do champion versus champion, etc., etc. And whoever wins, wins, and that's who gets the title. We're going to take the tournament aspect out of it. We're still going to come up with a yearly title for a show because it looked like a great idea on paper, and we're going to show you we can absolutely not do it better. Because that is absolutely what they have done. They have absolutely not done this better. Now, if you wanted to have a title for one region and one region alone that you only go to one time a year or 2 times a year, 2 days out of 365, 366 on a leap year, and your entire buildup to it is a side piece kind of act in the middle of a side piece kind of revitalized premium live event. Notice I'm not even disrespectful of that. I could have thought of 100 different ways to make this actually work and create new programming and create an opening. You could have started off with this thing. You should have, like you're doing with the speed title right now. They pick 8 random people. They run it back. They run it up to in the female side, the women's side, first speed champion. Congratulations. Can't even remember who won it. Don't study it that hard. But the point of it is you came up with 8 people for a Twitter title. And now that you have a Twitter champion, that's really what it is. Speed, yeah, whatever. Speed was a movie with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves in it, okay? That's just a fact. But if you're going to do something like this that is very specific, very detailed, and only covers one event in one location, and there's going to be no buildup to this. All they're going to do is these two are going to sit here and those other two are going to sit here and they're going to argue for the next several minutes about who should be. And there wasn't even really a buildup for it. Triple H just rolls out there and goes, hey, we got a new title. And we're not even going to tell you how it's going to be defended. Now, granted, to the credit of, and very shocked I was, I'm not the only one revolting on this. I didn't think I would be the only one revolting on it, but you just never quite know. There was an opportunity here to do something more than 5 matches. You had an opportunity here. You had an opportunity for some build. You had an opportunity for some brand new programming. Where you at, guys? Where is everyone who tells me that I don't understand professional wrestling, yet I just told you what you're not getting out of this? Where you at? Seriously, where you at? Because you run this format right here, you actually generate some action. You might even accidentally generate some heat. And going into Riyadh or wherever it's at in Saudi Arabia, usually it's in Riyadh. I could have that location wrong. I haven't really looked at it in detail. That's the intent on exactly how much I'm probably not going to be watching an awful lot of it. I'll watch a little bit. I'm going to, because it's a premium live event and it's on my TV. So I'm going to watch it. But I'm going to have the same complaint this time that I had last year, the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. If women cannot wrestle in their gear, don't send them. Let me say that one more time. If women cannot wrestle traditional gear, because I don't see a problem with anything they're wearing. If women cannot wrestle in traditional gear at this event, do not send them. Make it a male-only thing. You say, why in the world would you want to do that? The main reason a lot of people are showing up for this is the women. It's something different. And I'm not even going to get into the politics of that. But if you are not going to let your performers be performers, then don't send them to perform. It's embarrassing. This is actual misogynistic stuff. This is actual misogyny. This is actual shaming. Not to mention when you're not used to, here's the big part of it. We all have certain outfits and things of that nature that we feel comfortable performing our everyday life in. You don't go out to a farmer's field in a business suit. It would look out of place. You don't go to a board meeting in bib overalls. It would look out of place. When you perform at an event that's required of you in order to earn a living, you show up in what's needed to perform that task. Now, the guys, no issues. They can come as is. The women, on the other hand, got to wrestle in full body suits And if you're not used to wrestling in full body suits, there's a great, big, happy potential. That's why I don't call botches at this event. Especially in women's matches. If a botch happens, I'm expecting it. Because when you're out of gear, out of character, because your character and gear aren't conducive to the area that you're working in, there's no point in working there. But they will do it. They will take one for the team. And in past shows, we've had injuries. And the reason you get injuries is because the women are working in things that they're not used to working in. So you got one of two choices. And I'm saying this next year when it comes around too. So just go ahead. I'm fully loaded for that one next year because I don't expect them to change and I don't expect drones to expect more. So you either A, start working them in bodysuits a month before, which is of course going to screw up your live programming. Because you're going to get people that complain, oh, why in the world do they dress like? You're going to get that. Or don't send them. Don't. And let the venue change its mind. That was the whole point of doing this in the first place. At least that's what your presser said. So either fish or cut bait, WWE. I'm done with this. I'm done with this pandering. I'm done with what happens with this entire show. Now, that notwithstanding, that's management level. Talent level. I wish you guys nothing but the best, safety, the whole 9 yards. I hope you get what you came after. I hope this show elevates you. Everybody performing in the show. Everybody contractually obligated to put on a performance in Saudi Arabia next weekend. I commend you. I wish you nothing but safety, the best of health. I wish you nothing but fluid matches. I wish you nothing but botchless finishes. I wish you nothing but the best. Even if you did sign on the dotted line. I wish you nothing but the best. Nothing but happy, healthy, safe matches. I hope no one gets hurt. I hope everybody works to fulfillment. I hope they nail the script. Whatever the script is for this show, I hope you nail it. That's how I feel about it. That's how I'm always going to feel about it. I got no hard feelings for the talent. I really don't. Now, I question some of your judgments, but that's naturally what I'm going to do because there's only one way to put a furnace in, and that's the right way. There's only one way to do this, and it's the right way. Now, the right way can span across several genres. Whatever genre you choose, do it right. And I wish you nothing but the best. Hey, we got 19 viewers out there. This is getting big. I appreciate it. Thank you. Rhio announced that she is coming to the States November 17th or November 13th through December 17th. Let me check that again real quick. I got to check that because I don't want to get that one wrong. That one is kind of important to me. November 12th through December 17th. I'm going to spend probably the next 20 minutes having a conversation about AEW. I know I'm all over the place here, but this was structured this way. I wanted to make sure Zack Sabre Jr. got his flowers. I wanted to make sure I got all the Saudi Arabia stuff off my plate because it's been bothering me the whole weekend ever since the announcement. And that's fact. What I would like to see, when Rhio gets here, and Rhio, as some of my friends would say, you know I rock with you. We do actually have some occasional dialogue. It's not like we're best friends or anything like that, but I definitely rock with her. I like watching her work. I like her performances. She deserves every title she's got. But I'm not talking to her right now. I'm glad she's coming to the States. I hope to see her live somewhere, somehow. I really, really hope that she gets a pop at the show in Winston-Salem, WrestleCade. I hope she gets a gig at WrestleCade. I really do. Because I'm going to be at WrestleCade. First time in a long time. But my message is not necessarily to her right now. My message is to you, Tony Khan. I'm going to run this back a little bit. We had this pay-per-view called Forbidden Door. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I knew who Stephanie Vaquer was. I went back and watched some of her matches so I could prep for that Mercedes Moné thing. I saw the backstage video. I saw the backstage pictures. Did you even think to offer her a contract? That match, regardless, she worked so well that she turned that fan base completely against Mercedes when Mercedes was a face. Like Long Island was booing Mercedes badly. And we're like, okay, Tony, do not let her out of this country without having a contract conversation with her, Tony. Don't do that. Don't do that. At least I remember Mr. Stark saying that. And I agreed. I thought the match was phenomenal. But you let her get out of the country without having contract discussions with her, which obviously, because you got a bigger bag than WWE was going to throw at her, that would have been worth the bag. All right. Now that we have learned from that particular debauchery, because if I do have one solid criticism of AEW, it's that moment in time, because you let a star get away. Now, I'm here to tell you right now, Rhio gets to the States, do not let her leave without at least a blank contract in her hand with a dollar figure on it. You can thank me later on this. She's a hell of a worker. And even in the little segment at All In Wembley. That's right, boys and girls. She was there. All In, Wembley, in the Saraya scene. She got a little bit of work in. And the crowd loved it. She is over like Rover. Everywhere. In the United States, in London, in Japan. If we get a wrestling federation or promotion on the moon, she'll go to the moon and be over on the moon. Same thing with Mars. Velon gets Mars colonized, and we get a wrestling promotion on Mars, she'll be the Mars heavyweight champion. Mars women's champion, I'm sorry. But the fact of the matter is she's a champion everywhere she goes. She carries herself like a champion. She works like a champion. She acts like a champion, walks like a champion, talks like a champion, cuts promos like a champion. You don't have to train her like a champion. You don't really have to do any development with her like a champion. She's a champion walking in. In every sense of the word. So Tony Khan, one thing I will say, if you let her get out of here in December without at least a show, and I honestly, what I said in the post, I stand on. Full gear. Rhio, Mercedes. Full gear. Forget Britt Baker. Britt Baker's nothing but a cancer. I said it. I stand on it. If I got Britt Baker fans in here, sorry about your damn luck. She's a cancer metastasizing hourly. The longer she's there, the harder it's going to be to cut that cancer out. Let it go. I know she's an original, but she's phoning it in. Let it go. Take her out of anything that sniffs a title. And if you plug Rhio in with Mercedes Moné, if you plug Rhio in with Mariah May, either one of those are going to be a women's match of the year candidate. She moves with the skill, style, and grace of a Will Ospreay. And I'm not trying to tell you your business because God knows I'm nowhere near it. But if I was a buying man in this market right now, I would just walk up and say, which Brinks truck do I need to back up to your doorstep to get you under contract? What's it going to take? Because when you've got something to sell, motherfucker, sell it. Let me say that one more time with a little less cussing. When you have got the best deal in town, sell it. She likes working in the UK. She likes working overseas. And you let your talent work overseas. And WWE doesn't. Unless they get all the money. Stephanie, you about to find that out the hard way there. You about to find out that you are in WWE. And that's it. He ain't going to send you down to Bloodsport. I can tell you that right now. You're not going to Marigold. That ain't going to happen. So get settled into the WWE way of working, the hard cam style, the internal clock. Just get used to it because that's your next 3 years, 4 years, however long you signed. And I don't care what the amount was. No amount of money was good enough to give up your soul. Because I've seen you work. And you know what? I wanted to work at Microsoft because it paid really well and that was where the glamour was. But you know what? The best system out there is Linux, however you want to call it. It's not the most popular, but it's powering everything we're doing right now. I think they're up to about a 50-50 percentage now. I think Microsoft's got about half the server market and Linux has the other half. But Linux was powering servers that we all use, but everybody goes out and buys Microsoft because that's the name. Same thing with wrestling. WWE is not the end-all tell-all, and they do have fantastic athletes. My problem with WWE is everything to do with management, nothing to do with talent. Now, the talent occasionally botch up and so on and so forth, and I get that. I really do. My problem's never been with the talent, and I'm always kind to the talent. I try to be kind to the talent unless the talent's not kind back, then I just tell them what I really think. But there's a lot of talent that I have a lot of respect for. It would blow your mind how much I respect a lot of the talent. To hear me talk and to understand what my own personal beliefs are on wrestling, it would blow your mind how many wrestlers in the WWE I believe and stand on the fact that they're very talented. I'll give you a list. Natty, Rhea Ripley, Gorgeous George. Y'all don't even know who that is. George the Animal Steel. Y'all don't even know who that is. You can look at him in video, but you ain't ever seen him live. Most of you haven't. Randy Savage, some of you've seen him. Had a lot of respect for him, didn't like his ways. His morals are a little shitty, but his wrestling ability is undeniable. Yeah, his morals are a little shitty. I think so. And not speaking ill of the dead, I understand he reformed before he died, and good on him. Uh, we were just saying today, say something good about China. Trailblazer. You don't have this women's division that you have in any organization anywhere on the planet, any promotion without China. And I'll stand on that. That is, I will die on that hill. Rhea Ripley, phenomenal female. And I want to go a little bit further here. I'm going to say that I believe in my heart of hearts that there's still good chain wrestling in Seth Rollins. I never saw Becky Lynch outside of WWE, but I respect her ability to get over the way she got over. And you know what? If it took getting socked in the nose and breaking your nose to get over, I'm fine with that too. I could literally go on and on and on about how much I respect the talent. It's management that I have a problem with in WWE. Less is not more, my good people. It is not. I promise you it's not. And the numbers reflect. When you were doing regular pay-per-views and not premium live events, your viewership was in the 10 million, 8 million. I want to say, I keep saying 10 million because I've seen 10 million on viewership. I've seen a wrestling show with 10 million viewership. It wasn't every day, it wasn't every week, but they got it. But on average, 5 to 6 million was not an uncommon number, especially during the wrestling wars. Because at that time, we clearly had 15, 20 million wrestling fans. And both divisions were fighting for their stuff. And that didn't even count the NWA limping around. That didn't even count TNA limping into the television scene. That didn't even count ECW. That just counted the two majors at the time on U.S. soil, which was WCW and WWE. Or at that time, WWF. So I've seen it. So with all that said right there, Tony Khan, you have the best deal in town. Exercise it. Not only can you give Rhio a bag, you can give her freedom. Freedom to work where she wants to work, wherever she wants, well, with the exception of WWE. I don't think you'd let her go on a WWE show. But everything else, every other promotion out there, every indie, if she wanted to go work the indies for a couple of weeks and get her head straight, maybe she's having a bad week, wants to get her head straight, wants to go work the indies, she can do that under your watch. Exercise that, my good man. Use your buying power wisely. Send Rhio an offer. Now, if Rhio doesn't accept it, I'm good with that too. Like I said, I rock with her. One of the first wrestlers to actually give me any love. Seriously. Sharing, comments, things like that. One of the first wrestlers to give me any love on this thing. So yeah, I rock with her. I share everything. I do everything in the world I can. Because I want to see people like that succeed. I think she wants to see people like me succeed too. We all want to see each other succeed in this business. And I want to succeed without tearing people down. Unfortunately, you guys don't give me a whole lot of options on that. I don't want to give a shit about half the people doing this business, but I have to. I have to keep up with what they're saying because I have to keep on top of it. And frankly, guys, I am not that big. Shout out to 26 viewers. Thank you. I also want to go ahead and hit a few other points here too, but I want to stay on this Rhio thing for a couple of minutes because I want you to understand that she is uber talented. I would put her in the same category as a Stephanie Vaquer, and in many, many ways, I'd rank her slightly above. She's had a lot more territorial work than Stephanie's had. Stephanie's been kind of homogeneous. That's a big word. Look it up. Rhio has been around in the wrestling business. Let's not get that twisted. I'm not saying anything rude. In the wrestling business, Rhio has been there. In the wrestling business, Zack Sabre Jr. has been where he's at. That's why he deserves the IWGP title. So, Tony, I'm telling you right now, God is my witness. If you let Rhio go, I am definitely going to criticize that move. If you don't put a contract in her hand, she doesn't have to sign it. Put your best effort forward. You need her. I am here to tell you right now, Tony, every promotion needs her. And she knows it. So you're not going to get a starstruck like, oh my God, AEW saying AEW. You're not going to get that out of her because she didn't get that out of her for WWE. That's a little bit of insider information. WWE didn't get that out of her. You're damn sure not going to get that out of her. So you got to work with what you got, sir. You have a fantastic promotion that's going to be around for at least 4 more years. And in all honesty, in all reality, it's going to be around as long as Tony Khan wants it to be around. So why not use that buying power? If you love professional wrestling like I think you love professional wrestling, and coming from a standpoint of someone who does love professional wrestling and not sports entertainment, I love professional wrestling. If I had your bag, I'd put $1 million on her, 2 million, 3 million, whatever Brinks truck I had to back up. It's a write-off from all your other profits anyway. You know that, I know that. We all went to business school, so let's just act like it, okay? We all have business degrees, so damn it, let's act like it for a change. I know what AEW is to you. I'm glad you're profitable now, but I don't think you cared one way or the other. So yeah, I'm talking straight to you now. Because you like some of the stuff I do. And I want you to hear this in all sincerity from a fan standpoint, not even from an analytical standpoint. You have the best deal in professional wrestling. Hands down, all day, twice on Sunday. Start flexing that, my man. And flex it right here. You're going to have to work to earn it, but by God, get in there and try to earn it. You'll be thankful you did, and the fans will be thankful you did. If you have never seen Rhio work, oh my God. I was talking on the show the other night about Jay White and how Jay White has no wasted motion. Jay White gives not fuck one about a hard cam or what the fans are saying. Now, he will stop occasionally and pose on the way down the ramp and everything like that. But when that bell rings, whoo, it's nothing but fluid motion for the entirety of that match. Not one wasted moment, not one wasted movement, not one wasted activity. Not one single thing. The man does nothing that doesn't contribute to the match. That's Rhio. And she can work at the level of Will Ospreay. She can work at the level of a Jay White. That's a reason to smile if you're a promoter. Because she would elevate your brand that much more. Now, don't get me wrong. I am still the biggest Giulia mark. I am still the biggest Stephanie Bakura mark that ever walked the face of the earth. I don't care. I own it. I wear that badge with pride. I wear it with pride. But I'm also a Rhio mark, heavy mark. I've watched her work. I promise you. Fans, I promise you. You would not be disappointed in anything she did. And you may find yourself going holy right in the middle of it. I know I sure did about 5 or 6 times. She does things that women just aren't supposed to be able to do. And I'm going to leave it at that. In the ring, she is just an absolute joy to watch. Do not let this get by you, Tony. Please, for the love of God and everything holy, please do not let her get out of this country without having a conversation. Make the first move. You want to make the first move, Tony. Because like I said, Rio's smart. She was definitely smarter than the machine from what I understand. I could be wrong about that. But I have it from a very good source that she saw past the machine. So if Rhio sees past the machine, you need to step up, my guy. Seriously. Seriously. Now then, the only other thing we really need to talk about this week is Dynamite. Light the fuse, bring the boom, Dynamite. Yeah, I did steal that from you guys, Covalent. I think that's the coolest damn thing on Wednesday night. And Covalent TV also will be on Wednesday night following Dynamite. Do not miss the show. This is going to be the show. Because I have a feeling Mr. Stark's been sick for a few minutes. I'm pretty sure he's going to bring back all that energy he couldn't give for being sick. And that's going to be phenomenal. Don't miss the Wednesday night Dynamite. Queen Aminata and Mercedes Moné. I have a feeling Mercedes is going to go over. I'm not 100% sure what the Full Gear storylines are going to be going just yet. Do I think that Camille's going to get involved? I don't know, but that was a smooth one the last time. You know it, I know it, we all know it. It was beautiful. I loved it. Yeah. Heel people doing heel shit. I love it. I love it. Queen Aminata, Mercedes Moné is not a match that I had a build for. It certainly wasn't on my bingo card. It should have been. Now that I go back and watch the Rampage episodes and the previous Collision and Dynamite episodes. So this is shaping up to be a pretty good match. Queen Aminata. You probably haven't seen her that much because I know good and well the average fan is not watching Rampage, especially now with SmackDown going out to 3 hours. They're sticking with that SmackDown product so they can get SmackDown going into the weekend. Queen Aminata's got some movesets on her that, quite frankly, most of you fans ain't seen. This is going to be a match. Tony, you did it again, sir. You're starting off with a hot Dynamite just with that match alone. I know we're going to have some fallout from the Moxley thing, and I want to take a few minutes to shout that out too because I didn't really get a full time to do that this weekend on Wrestle Dream. I wanted to, but it was just going too long, and I knew it was going too long, and I knew that I'd probably wear people out. So I'm going to take this moment right here to talk about this. At All Out, which was a phenomenal pay-per-view, by the way, we had a segment with Blackpool Combat Club, and after the Jack Perry, Bryan Danielson match, where a plastic bag was used by Jon Moxley. This sparked outrage. In fact, one of our Twitter elite IQ of 50 or lower, decided to start a petition to remove AEW content off of television. Now, granted, the syringe at the end was part of it, but the main thing they were talking about was the bag over the head for Bryan Danielson. And Tony Khan responded at Wrestle Dream, at the end of Wrestle Dream, like a boss. There is just side message, you guys need to pick a struggle. Do you want a boss or what? You keep saying you want a boss, you get a boss, you're mad because you got a boss. Tony Khan did a boss thing at the end of Wrestle Dream. In the Wheeler Yuta turn, which now everybody's saying they were calling it. No, they weren't. They were calling for Wheeler Yuta to come to the aid and defense of Bryan Danielson, continuing on the feud. And during the show itself, people were tweeting, well, maybe Nigel McGuinness will help Bryan Danielson. So I don't want to hear all that bullshit. It didn't happen. I mean, I thought it was kind of rogue to say that he was going to turn, it was going to be violent. I said that. I said it was going to be a violent turn. Not just a regular, oh, I'm going to slap you and then run away and ha, 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 ha. No. Tony Khan decided to double down on his critics, and he put the bag in Wheeler Yuta's hands. So not only did we get, and Wheeler Yuta, I thought Moxley brought it with the bag. Wheeler Yuta's like, hold my beer and watch this shit. The only thing missing with it, Washington, we got to get it with the program, okay? Washington, we got to get you with the program. Your chant was supposed to be, this is murder. Everybody else got it right the last time in Chicago. Come on, Washington, we're going to need you to get up on this. Tony Khan doubled down. Tony Khan, screw doubled down. He quadrupled down. He put the bag in Wheeler Yuta's hands, and Wheeler Yuta went to town, and Wheeler Yuta sold. You know that thing you guys keep saying AEW doesn't do, sell? Wheeler Yuta sold to such an extent that I found myself for the next hour trying to put that match finish together in my head. I have never been stumped, swerved, trademark, to that level. Anyone who can do that, to me, is a booker. When Final Countdown was playing longer than it normally does, I said, yep, this is it. And I said to my son, we were watching, I said, I think this might be it. I really want Bryan Danielson to go over and make it to Full Gear, but I think we're done. I did. I said right then and there, I said, I think we're done. And I missed that. And I'm still reviewing to see where I missed it. But I really missed it because I was sitting there screaming that Bryan Danielson was going to go over. We were going to get to Full Gear. And we were going to get the Shane McMahon thing. Now that I think about it, I know I missed some signs. I'm trying to catch up with it. But the fact that Tony Khan quadrupled down with that bag segment, this is where we're going to be in AEW going forward. There is going to be a clear choice. Now, you can either go with WWE's management style of wrestling, or you can go with the Outlaws. And that's exactly where I'm going with this next segment. And this is going to be our last segment for the day, because I have to get ready to go to the mountains. And, you know, I already opened up with that, so I don't want to get on that horse again. There is going to be a clear choice going forward. Old school professional wrestling fans who have endured WWE and their monopolistic principles are going to have a choice between old school smash mouth, catch as catch can, fuck the rest of the world professional wrestling, or we're going to have managed hard cam style 25 to 30 minutes of wrestling in a 2-hour show, hour and a half in a 5 to 6 hour show. You have a clear choice. Personally, I'm going to be hanging out with the Outlaws. I happen to think that AEW puts on a better product for professional wrestling. I also happen to think they tell stories better. Why is this? No, AEW doesn't tell stories. Of course they do. They just tell them in a different way, some way that you have not been pre-programmed to understand. I was pre-programmed to understand in-ring storytelling. My dad was pre-programmed to understand in-ring storytelling. What this fosters is an analytical mindset because you have to think. You can't just sit back, veg out, watch two people slap on each other, grab on each other for 5 to 7 minutes and then move on with your next line of soaps. You actually have to think when you're watching these matches. Some of us are pre-programmed to do that. That's why we like the product better, because it's more in our language. This is my segment for the drones, guys. I want you to understand where I'm coming from and why I say what I say. I'm pre-programmed to understand in-ring storytelling. I can tell a wrist lock from a hammer lock. I can tell a suplex from a body slam. I know what a sleeper is. I also know what a cobra clutch is. Sergeant Slaughter, you knew I was going to get you in the show sometime. There it is, sir. Enjoy it. So for those of us who had nothing but in-ring storytelling for most of our adult and childhood wrestling lives, this is a breath of fresh air because we can understand it. I speak the language. If you have any questions, holler at me. If you have any questions, holler at the Covalent TV. They apparently speak the language too. They're a little younger than I am. That doesn't matter. We've wanted this. Now, don't get me wrong. It is perfectly fine to want what you want. If you like NXT, good on you. If you like Raw, great. If you like SmackDown, fantastic. Do not come on my feed. And I mean this. My block button's been strong. My block game today is about 600 strong and it's still going. Do not come on my feed talking about Mexicans. We thought we were going to get this, but we got more Mexicans. And you have an entire show dedicated to Samoans and Tongans. Don't do it. It's bad faith. And it's a very shitty version of Samoans and Tongans too. Because trust me, WWF, F as in Frank, used to do Samoans and Tongans a hell of a lot better than they do it now. I actually believed they were scary. Go figure. On the way out the door today, I want to leave you with something. We do have a premium live event coming up on Saturday. If you are a huge fan of women's wrestling, in other words, if you are a stan for women's wrestling, speak out, speak up, and speak out. I know you're going to be disappointed in how the matches go. You know you're going to be disappointed in how the matches go. So go ahead and vocalize that. Voice your opinion. That way WWE doesn't get to play the "well, I didn't know. Come to find out this didn't work." Speak out, speak up, and do it regularly. If not, then don't. But I don't want to hear one single one of you complaining if one of your favorite female wrestlers got hurt during that show and they won't be back for 6 months. Don't want to hear a fucking word out of your mouth. They got hurt because they had to improvise with their situation. No one made accommodations for them because there was no money in it. So either you use your voice correctly or don't use it at all when the inevitable happens. And I started off this show saying 100%, I want everybody to understand, this is not a call for anything bad to happen. I want nothing but happy, healthy performers of sports entertainment to return to this country from Saudi Arabia. I want everybody to return happy, healthy, able to work. Even the cameramen, I don't want them slipping on a banana peel and throwing their back out. I want them to be happy, healthy, and able to return to work after this show. However, I do not want to hear any more glazing and then this feigned surprise if something happens. Because you have nobody to blame but yourself. You're the fan. Now, granted, WWE management is going to do whatever WWE management wants to do, but you rob them of the ability, well, nobody told us. We thought you liked it. No, make sure they know it. Make sure they know that you support fairness and equality. Now, I didn't say equal outcomes, because that's never going to happen. But I support the fair and equal treatment of all talent. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, male, female, gay, straight, trans. I don't really care. Hit every single label you can hit in there. I support fairness and equality for all of them. Now, I don't think you get equal outcomes, but I do support equal opportunity. 100%. I think everybody should have the right to be as successful or unsuccessful as they can be. But in this environment here, coming up this Saturday, I just cannot get behind this show. I don't have any interest. I'm going to watch it, a little bit of it, because I may decide I want to cover it. I may not. Honestly, I may not cover it at all. I didn't cover Bad Blood that much. I just gave results. And I may do a results-based thing on this, Crown Jewel. I don't think they have any build-up. I think the Crown Jewel belt is absolutely stupid. I think it's a really bad takeoff on something that actually works for another promotion. You're just trying to put your WWE spin on it. There is nothing good for professional wrestling that will come out of this weekend at all. Now, that being said, there is an alternative, and that's probably the main reason I'm not going to be watching. Scott D'Amore, and this is my absolute last segment. I promise we'll be out of here in 20 minutes. I promise. At the latest, we're going to be out the door in 20 minutes. Because I don't want to keep people too long. Shout out to the 28 we've got. Thank you. Scott D'Amore, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, Triller TV, 2-day event. And I'm here for it. That's one of the main reasons I probably won't be watching a lot of Crown Jewel, is because Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has a 2-day pay-per-view. And I'm going to tell you right now, the amount of matches that you are going to get for $30 is astounding. There is going to be a huge amount of AEW talent there. There is going to be a tremendous amount of independent talent from all over the independent promotions, well-known names. Takeshita is going to work 2 nights with the AEW International Championship. I practice what I preach. Putting the AEW International Championship on him was absolute stroke of genius, because there is a brand new population, especially in Canada, that are about to see AEW wrestling for the first time ever with a title. Jimmy Jacobs was a jackass. That's all I'm going to say on Jimmy Jacobs going forward. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has a 2-day event going on this weekend. It is against Crown Jewel. It costs $30. There are at least 19 matches over 2 days. He split it up over 2 days. So for those of y'all who are WrestleMania fanatics, and when SummerSlam is going to 2 days, I think this coming year, if you want to see how an actual real life 2-day event is actually supposed to look, spend the $30. Watch Scott D'Amore do his thing. Then, when you're done with that, ask yourself, was TNA really that much better off for losing him? The answer will be a resounding hell no. And Scott D'Amore is about to show you why TNA was good enough to get everybody's attention. And that was because he was there. You are about to see booking mastermind Scott D'Amore go to work this weekend. Personally, I'm going to be seated. I'm going to hype the matches on Friday when we get back. Or I might do it during the course of the week from the hotel while we're up there. I'm going to hype the matches. I'm going to do a prediction show for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling for their event. Probably going to be later on this week. And we're going to go into detail and in depth and discuss that. Today's show has been a lot about not WWE, but I do want to send out once again before I leave, I don't want anybody to think that I'm just absolute death on WWE, because I'm not. I once again want to wish all the performers and everything a safe trip, safe work, and a safe return home. Be glad to hear from you when you get there. Sorry, I'm probably not going to watch much of the work because a lot of reasons. I think we've covered that today. Scott D'Amore, about to show you what a pay-per-view looks like. Scott D'Amore and Tony Khan are on the same level. They really are. And I would say in some cases Scott D'Amore is a better booker than Tony. That's just personal preferences on some of the things he does. Tony works his stuff one way. Scott works his stuff a different way. I like some of what Scott does. I like some of what Tony does. If I have two of them together, hint, hint, wink, wink, once you pick up Shane McMahon, Scott D'Amore would not be a bad grab. It would not be. The three of y'all together could single-handedly revolutionize professional wrestling on that level at this time. This could be our next generation of great, fantastic professional wrestling. I personally will be happy to see it. We'll catch our review show either Wednesday or Thursday. I haven't decided yet. It really just kind of depends. It's probably going to be taped, so don't look for it to be live, because I'm going to be doing good to get good internet service up there in the first place. So I'm not looking forward to dealing with that part of it. So it's probably going to be taped and broadcast, rebroadcast for consumption. Either way, I'm sitting here looking at almost 30 viewers. And as I leave for the day, I want to definitely spend a few minutes thanking you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Because without you, I probably still would do this, but I'd just be talking to myself for real, for real. And don't think any of that goes unnoticed. And with that, we've taken an hour and 17 minutes of your time so far here, and I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I know there are other things going on, and we do have Monday Night Raw to deal with here in just a few hours, and there's a few other things going on out there out in the professional world, professional wrestling world right now. You probably want to take a look at. Like I said, if you're not familiar with Zack Sabre Jr., go check him out. Rhio. If you are not familiar with Rhio, check out my page. I post for her all the time. I do a lot of posting. I do a lot of sharing. I do a lot of just, I want to see her succeed because she deserves it. So if you are not familiar with her, familiarize yourself with her. Tony Khan, please back up that Brinks truck. This is someone you need to back a Brinks truck up for. I wholeheartedly believe that. I don't just say it. I really, honest to God, believe it. Closing thoughts. In 3 weeks, we're going to make a decision on where we want this country to go. Tune out what you hear. Think for yourself and make the decision based on what you come up with. How untribalistic was that comment? The main thing I want you to do, if you are in the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, you owe yourself to at least go out and vote. Now, you got a 50% chance of winning. But by not participating in the process, you have a 100% chance of losing. Didn't make it political, didn't pick a side, didn't do any of that. Common sense, logic. Sometime in my lifetime, I would desperately love to see 250 million votes in the United States of America, because that means we came to stay and we didn't come to play. And I don't care who you vote for, just vote. That's all I got to say today. Thank you for joining us here on Graps TV and The Sicko Show. I'm your host, the Matty Man. As always, it has been a pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting us. And I don't want to leave the stream without reminding you it's coming. Paperwork is already out there. Everything's done. We're getting ready to apply pen to paper. I'm working with some promotions right now, trying to get their material on the television. I'm working out the financials of it right now. I think we're going to wind up with a $3 subscription because that's just how it's going to be. And all of your proceeds go back to the promotions. There's going to be some advertising on there, the light advertising part of it. The promotions are also going to share in 40% of the advertising revenue. So I think between 40% of the advertising revenue and a $3 subscription, $3. And if you subscribe for the whole year, it's $2. We're going to have a whole lot of wrestling on there. We're going to have a whole lot of podcasts. The podcasters are going to be sharing in their ad revenue for their shows and everything else. And there's going to be a variety of podcasters on here. I really, really, really want Graps TV to be the most non-tribalistic conglomeration of broadcasters ever to exist. That's my goal. That's my vision. Just so you know, I say what I mean and I mean what I say. I'm excited, very happy to announce that this thing's getting ready to happen. And it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I'm hoping to be completely done with everything before we go to WrestleCade. Not 100% sure that's going to be doable, but it's possible. And you best believe I'm going to be uploading and uploading and uploading and uploading. If I have to work 7 days straight, for all you South Florida residents, you know what I'm talking about from that move from Deerfield Beach over to Fort Lauderdale. I was in part of that. I slept under a desk for 2 weeks in a sleeping bag, an hour at a time, to get your internet service moved from one location to the other. I'm going to be putting that same kind of energy behind this. We are going to have a platform that's good for professional wrestling. That's my word. That's my promise. Everybody, take care. God or whatever deity you represent and worship, may they bless you. And good afternoon, America, wherever you are. Take care. We'll see you on Wednesday or Thursday.